sometimes leadership feels like a race to the top. Listeners, the metrics, the milestones, the meetings, and all that. But what if climbing higher wasn't just about achievement, but awareness? What if success meant not just reaching the peak or the summit, but noticing every step along the way, the journey? Welcome back, listeners, to this episode of the Mindful Living Podcast. I'm your host, Sana, as always. And today, for this conversation, I'm joined by someone who doesn't just talk about the leadership, he lives it mindfully. Listeners, Rahul Karan Sharma is a leadership strategist, Forbes Coaches Council member, and he's also the creator of the Climb framework, which is a 5 step path that brings presence, purpose, and performance into harmony. Now, from over 2 decades in corporate America to becoming a trusted guide for leaders navigating uncertainty, Rahul helps people move from hesitation to high performance with clarity, confidence, and contagious energy. So, listeners, in today's conversation, we'll be unpacking how mindfulness and leadership intersect and how the climb framework helps leaders rise without losing their grounding. So, let's get ready. And Rahul, welcome to the show. And it is a real honor to have you here on the show.
Thank you, Sarah, for a warm and kind introduction. It's my pleasure to be here. Excited to have the conversation and how it unfolds for our listeners.
Absolutely. So, Rahul, before we try to understand, how mindfulness and leadership intersect, I think one positive, observation that I have seen or I'm making here is now we are not framing leadership as this authoritative or aggressive, loud leadership. We are bringing in some different aspects of leadership. I mean, I have had conversations on blending intuition into leadership, servant leadership, importance of emotional intelligence, relational intelligence. So I think this is such a huge pivot in terms of looking at leadership. And with that, you often say that leadership, it isn't a position, it is a practice, which is, I think, a very interesting take on it. So, how does mindful leadership show up in your day-to-day interactions, especially in super stressful, high-pressure corporate environments?
Sure. So I think, Sana, great question. At the start of your question, you spoke about uh, how in the past the aggressive leadership was kind of the talk of the town, and how it's slowly and steadily moving towards those aspect of a calm, very composed leader, a servant leader. And
Yep.
what has happened is in today's world, that aggressiveness, yes, as a leader you need to be aggressive, I am not denying that, but just that aggression will not lead you to that path of that mindful leader. Because as a leader, our job is just not to lead the milestone for the organization. Our job or our purpose is to lead people. And as you know, there are no two people alike. So if we are using that aggressive approach, we may not be able to lead all the different personalities of people that we are leading. So my thought process here is that the calm and the composed leader is who will r- make to the next level. Because when we are calm, we are more attentive to what kind of decisions we are taking. When we are calm, we are thinking more, we are listening more, which is very important in today's hustle and bustle culture, that we should be more mindful about our action. And as we know that action speaks louder than words, uh, it is that mindful leadership is the, I would not say it's a must. It has to be more like a part of life. And one way is the way I practice is, and honestly, it is not something that I've mastered it yet, Sana. It's still work in progress in spite of so much of experience. I am a human being. Things still go wrong, but what I focus on is staying calm and composed when the situation is tough, because I think the leadership aspect of your career or of your life is tested when you are in a stressful condition, when you are in a stressful situation. And by being calm and composed is what helps you in taking the wise decision when situation is stressful. That would be my thought process there.
I totally, I mean, I couldn't agree more with you. And one thing which I really, really liked is, I mean, it's very humbling that, for you, it is still work in progress. I think for every one of us, because uh, normally, if we want to bring in change within us or in the situation, or maybe, while leading a team as well, it's often kind of assumed that it has to be done very quickly. However,
Hmm.
I think
Hmm.
it's its own sweet time. Everyone is different. So I think that is very humbling that, you said that for me as well, it is still work in progress. Mistakes may happen, but I am learning each and every day. So I think that is something very, very, something I think every one of us should take inspiration from. And Rahul, people assume, when you are um, trying to bring in mindfulness or you're trying to bring a huge change, it is driven by some kind of transformative moment or event or incidents. So, were you practicing mindfulness from the beginning of your leadership journey, or this is something that was driven by a certain moment or interaction or any occurrence?
So, uh, Sana, I also have made a fair share of mistakes as I was growing up in my own career. And my so there was no formal leadership title that was
Mhm.
given to me when I started leading. I actually uh, saw an opportunity coming my way, and instead of anyone giving me that opportunity, I actually grabbed that opportunity. So so I was more an accidental leader. I was not a leader who was already identified, who was sent for leadership training. Nothing of that sort happened. So when I grabbed that opportunity is when I started understanding what is leadership. And leadership, and again, don't get me wrong, that approach of mine when I was growing up worked well for the organization, worked well for me, worked well for my people. But towards the maybe mid of my career, I realized that as a leader, my job is, or my role is not to have an answer for all the problems my people have. Initially, I was thinking that, man, someone is coming to me, I need to help them. They have come to me for help, they have come to me for support. I need to do whatever it takes to help them. And I was not realizing that as a leader, I am more of a facilitator. I am not a problem solver. I can only guide them to solve the problem because, as you know, people resist change. But at the same time, people gets excited also for a change when they are going for a vacation, when they are traveling to a new country, when they are trying out a new restaurant, when they are buying a new car, a new home. That is also a change. But human beings are excited about that change because that change is driven by them. People resist change when the change is being forced upon them. So what I have learned over a period of time that When you are forcing people to do some things, you will not get the result. So for me, that life changing moment, I would not say it was a life changing moment, but yes, there were series of incidents that happened that really made me more aware of being a mindful person. Uh, I would not say it was one event, Sana. It was throughout my career, when I myself went for leadership training, when I became a certified coach. That was a big moment, because I learned that though I was getting success in whatever I was doing, but my approach was different. My approach was not according to the coaching federation, because my approach was all about helping people. And as a coach, yes, we should help people, but then we should not spoon feed people. We should help people to get their own answers, to get their own path. Our job is to just give them clarity, show them a different perspective. So, to answer your question, there was not one transformative event that really triggered that mindfulness in me. Um, as a young boy, as a 9-year old boy, I learned this statement from my father, which is, where there is a will, there is a way. And that statement is the guiding light for me. That statement is my own pill or silver bullet, you can say, because whenever I'm feeling low, whenever I am in my down moment, that statement really moves things up for me. Where there is a will, there is a way. Uh, so there was not one transformative moment for me. It was over a period of time, when I went for any training, when I had few events, not one but multiple events that really moved me to being more mindful a person.
That's so beautifully said. So beautifully. And uh, a lot of, one thing which really, like, it connected with my heart, and I also 100% agree. And sometimes, people find it very, I don't know, maybe sometimes rude, but we cannot spoon feed, as a coach. But overall, like, we have heard this saying that, I can help you, I can take you there where you'll find water, but I cannot make you drink that water. You have to figure that out. So
Yeah.
I think that something is such a, sometimes a misconception that, if I'm guiding or I am mentoring, my role is not to spoon feed you, but to give you direction. Or,
Hmm.
but then your actions, your choices, they're all determined by you. So I think that is something, this particular point that I so connect with. And
Right.
absolutely, I mean, it's such commonly said, but I think it's tested through difficult times, because I have personally also faced a few moments, few events in my life, where um I completely, like, gave up. My inner self gave up, that, this is, there's nothing after this, especially during pandemic. We have heard so many things, where people lost their jobs, they got
Yeah.
laid off, and it kind of it looked like, there's nothing else left. So I think that is something so important we need to once again uh be aware about, that when there is a will, there's definitely a way. It may not be
Correct.
immediate, will take its time, we'll find a way out there.
Correct, correct. And on that note, that you mentioned that you were at a low point, my I always say in my message to people who feel that way, or who have been in a situation where they feel low, I think one thing we need to remind ourselves that God has sent us in this world for a purpose.
Mm.
And that purpose is not to feel low. The purpose is not to uh, take that extreme step that our family, our loved ones will sorry about it, but that purpose is to live our life to fullest. Their purpose is to leverage our strength and that was also part of my framework. What happens, Sana, is many a times we as human beings, we do not know what our strengths are, and we always think that grass is greener on the other side, and we always go and try to do things which we see uh, that is looking good without looking in on our inner self. We try to make things look good from an outer self perspective. So
Mm.
my recommendation, if ever you are feeling low, one thing I would encourage you to do is, in that moment, pick up your phone or probably go and talk to the person who gives you energy. There are always two kinds of people in our life: one who gives us energy, and another is who drains our energy. So I call them as energy drainers, and the other one I call them as energy boosters. So
Yeah.
call those people who are energy booster, or set up a coffee meeting, or go and meet them if they're locally available, and have a conversation with them whenever you are feeling low. Um, and number two, I would say, is never ever take a decision on a bad day. So let's say if you are having a rough day at work or rough day through your personal life, never ever take that any decision, because that decision will not be a rational one. Just let it go. Be mindful about what things are going. My big recommendation is, don't ever take a big decision, or never ever quit on a day when it is when you are not in a right frame of mind. Those are the two things I would recommend whenever you are feeling low. One is talk to people who will boost your energy, and two is never take any decision or never quit on a day which is not a good for you when you are not having a right frame of mind.
Those are life lessons, Rahul. Those are life lessons. These are timeless and
Thank you.
really golden. They are.
Mhm.
They are.
Yep.
Super. Super. And I think we we are realizing that, how mindfulness is here, like that driver of that that this journey, that backside character, who is not obviously we are not able to see, but he or she, they are driving the entire journey. They are so instrumental in driving the entire journey here. So I think mindfulness we often don't realize, but in daily actions, eating, talking, especially with people who are energy boosters, or doing something which really gives us happiness, or thinking about the present, getting back to the present moment and try to enjoy. I think mindfulness is practiced by every one of us. It may not have been given much of an importance, because we often don't realize it, because we are always in that hurry.
Correct, correct. And I think you're bringing a good point. There is also a concept called mindful eating. And when you say that we are always in hurry, if you think practically, when we are eating food, whether it is a tasty food, not so tasty, whatever it is, that that moment, it is only that few seconds when the food is going in your mouth is when you feel the taste. After that, that food is a waste. So if we do not enjoy our food, if you're not mindfully eating our food, enjoying the taste, enjoying the aroma, and enjoying the fragrance of whichever dish you are having, you are just then there is no difference between us and animals, actually, because uh, unfortunately they are not able to be as sensitive as human beings are. So try to be more mindful while eating as well. And I think, as Sana, you were sharing that mindful is more of a practice. I think mindful living begins with awareness. First of all, it's all about awareness that who is around you, who are walking with you. Like, you must have heard that people used to drive with a loud music. Uh,
Yes.
Now they are listening that music, but
Mhm.
probably they are not aware that how much hindrance it is causing to people nearby, right?
Yes.
Uh, they are, I'm not saying that they are bad, but probably no one has given them that feedback that, man, your music is too loud. Yes, they know that music is loud, but no one has told them. So it is all about the awareness, uh, how you are aware of the things around you. That is very, very important.
True. True. And now you mentioned about the framework. So let's discuss about it, and let's begin with the birth of climb here. Um,
Sure,
Now
sure.
it really feels both structured and spiritual. That I can say, but I would really our listeners would love to know, like, what inspired you to bring the climb framework, this holistic approach into a corporate leadership context.
Yeah. So after I moved out of corporate, I was working with a coach, and when we were having a conversation about the offerings that I'm giving it to the world, he shared with me that, hey, your offerings are great, but there is no uniqueness in your offering. It's very generic, and in today's world, people are looking for something very, very specific, something very which is not generic. So he
Actually.
challenged me to come up with something which is of my own, which is very unique to me. And that's when I started working on building this climb framework. And the climb, and I'm a big fan of acronym, coming from learning and development background. We love to create acronyms so that it's easier for our learners to retain the information. So
Right.
in my experience, what I have noticed that every leader, or probably most of the leaders, they go through four stages in their leadership journey. Um, which is, the first one is they're invisible. Whenever they start their journey, they are invisible. They are not seen. No one is willing to listen to them. No one is giving them seat on the table. That is the stage, one of the stage of leadership. From there, they move to the stage, I call it as a potential. So they are able to perform. People are seeing their potential as an individual contributor, but they're still not seen as the leader for the organization, or leader for the whichever group that they are supporting. From being in the potential stage, the next stage is achiever. So they are in potential, someone saw potential in them, and then they became achiever. They are at all the award functions. They are getting that corner office exclusive to them.
Yeah.
And once they are at achiever stage, there are some people who are able to navigate their journey, and they become influencer. Influencer is the fourth stage. But most of us, we are unable to navigate to that achiever stage, and then we lead to burnout. So uh, so we, instead of becoming an influencer, we lead to burnout. We started giving low performance. We start giving up on our health. So typically these are the four stages. Now, the where the climb framework comes in, the climb framework allows you to move from one stage to another. And my framework stems on two parameters, which is, one is collaboration, and other is the confidence. So more confidence you have, more collaboration you have, that is when you become an influencer. Uh, Less confidence, less collaboration, you are at an invisible mode. So now I want to come to the climb. So the acronym climb, the C stands for cultivate your mindset. So when you are at invisible stage, instead of having the feel of a self pity mode, no one need me, no one wants to work with me, if you go into that kind of a mindset, then it is not something that will help you. So you need to create a mindset of growth, that you are here to do something unique. you need to create a mindset that will help you with positive thoughts, positive action, and allow you to move away from being invisible to becoming a potential. When you are in potential stage, as I was sharing earlier, the L in the climb framework stands for leverage your strength. So you need to know what your strengths are. You need to know what your areas of improvement, and so that you focus on your strength, play to your strength, because mindfulness helps us see ourselves without judgment. So that's where the being mindful is important. If you are mindful, then you are able to see your inner self. Now, from here you move to the achiever stage. Now, in achiever stage, as I shared earlier, that people either move to influencer or they lead to burnout. And one of the reason for the burnout is they are not knowing what their purpose is. They're just running after that end goal. And when they reach to the end goal, they see that, okay, this is not it. I have to run faster. I need to run more. So the I in the climb framework stands for integrate your purpose and vision. So when you are at achiever stage, you really need to do a dig deeper and find your purpose. Why are you here? Why are you doing what you're doing? Why you wanted to become a leader? And if what you are doing, is it really matching your why? Or you are just here for those commercials, you are just here for that fame, or
Mm.
you want to become a leader to really serve the community. So that is the I stands for. Now the M and B in the climb,
Mm.
it is for those people who have reached to that influencer stage. Now,
Yeah.
once you become an influencer does not mean that you will remain there forever. The moment there is change in leadership, the moment you change any company, the moment you change your department, you again come back to the invisible mode. But if you are at that influencer mode, the M and B is you still need to continue to magnify your impact. That is the M, magnify your impact. And the B is you need to build your legacy. I believe that the success of a leader is not about achieving the numbers. The success of leadership depends on how many leaders they have produced,
Yeah.
what kind of legacy they are leaving behind.
True.
So, this is what the climb framework is that allows people to move from an invisible stage to becoming an influencer. And the whole thought process behind this, Sana, was when I was in my leadership team, when I was in learning team, what I learned was that we were having a very specific uh, program for group of people.
Okay.
And I believe that leadership journey has to be unique because the individuals are unique. People are unique. So you cannot have a very cookie cutter approach. So this climb framework is very unique to that individual who is climbing to the ladder. It is not a cookie cutter approach. Uh, the strength of everyone is different. The purpose for everyone is different. So it is not that one approach would be applicable to all. It is the individual who will have to do it themselves. So it's a very unique to one person. So it's not one size fit all, but it is one size fit one kind of a framework that really helps and shape the journey of a leader. So I know I took more time, but this is in nutshell what my client framework is all about.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you lay the prerequisite and cultivate itself. Like, how, because um, to start with the client framework, um, I think you need to shed a lot of your inhibitions or fears, or, that kind of mindset which, would rather uh, come from a point of judgment, or questioning that why is this happening to me, why did that happen to me, why did I do that. So I think that itself is such a prerequisite here, because until and unless you shed those inhibitions, you won't be able to start working on implementing the client framework in your own frame of reference. So I think that's very very interesting. And you mentioned about confidence, and that sparked a question in my mind. Like you, like confidence, it can be a tricky balance, because it can start from a very grounded, like a self assurance that yes, I can do this, I can do this. um
Mm.
Let me try this out. I may not have the answer, but I have the confidence to get into solving this problem. But then it can also come to ego driven certainty. So
Yep.
how do you help leaders stay confident and humble?
Yep. And I think it's a good question because
Mm.
um, these two things goes hand in hand, in my opinion. Because
Okay.
if you're egoistic, probably you will not be as humble as you want to be.
Yeah.
Uh, so it's a very unique situation. And one way that we need to focus on the leadership is that when you take on that leadership role,
Mhm.
it is more than for you, it is for people. So the mindset has to be changed here because people think that the moment I become a leader, it is for me. I will get that title, I will get that pork, I will get that corner cabin. But the thought process or mindset should be that, okay, now I'm getting an opportunity to serve people. Now I'm getting an opportunity to help people. Because let's call spade as a spade. Sana, when you and me started our own career, I'm
Mhm.
sure we all had those people who showed confidence in us, who
Yeah.
showed that trust in us, because we all have our own fair share of challenges. We all had our own mistakes. So it's not that we were picture perfect. It was not that we were right from day one, we were having all the knowledge and all the information that needed to be successful. So, so those people who had shown that confidence to us, now it is our time when we become a leader to show that confidence to the rest of the people that we are leading. And
Mm.
if we are not humble, if we go from that egoistic approach, then we may not be able to see it through with that. There will be a wall that would be between us because our egocentric approach is bringing that wall. And
Yeah.
by being humble, you are allowing people to make mistakes. You're allowing people to fail. And when you allow people to make mistakes, when you allow people to fail, you actually build a very inclusive culture. You build a culture where people will be more focused on innovation. You are building a culture when people are more courageous, when people are not afraid to say no to something. So,
Mm.
we see that a lot of organizations, they are not able to uh, grow. They are not able to innovate themselves. They're not able to innovate their process,
Mm.
and that is happening because the leaders have not created the culture where um, innovation is actually praised, or learning from failure is actually appreciated.
Mm.
When that is not happening, we are creating the culture of a very process oriented, a mundane kind of process. There is no change that is coming through that process. So,
Right.
people who want to remain humble, and their humbleness depends on how you are uh, treating the person who is down in the value chain when it comes to the leadership. uh, you Because I have seen people in the corporate world, they look at the title before responding to the email.
Right.
If the title is senior level, then they will be very quick in responding. If the title is someone an associate level, then they will take their own sweet time. So that is when, your ego and that humbleness comes. For you, everyone should be one. uh, and as a leader, that's very very important that you are getting that opportunity, so you should be thankful to the person who has trusted in you. You should be
Mm.
thankful to the organization, and you should be thankful to your own mentors, your own leaders who have given you this, who have allowed you to be at the level that you are. So humbleness is a big quality when it comes to leadership, and taking the ego away is something, is a necessity. I would not say is a must. It has to be more part of life. Your ego has to be out of, there should not be a place of ego when it comes to a leader.
True, true. I think humble is also rare nowadays.
Yeah, yeah. It is rare, but yeah, still there. I would say there are some great leaders, uh, and who are actually humble, kind, and who are thinking about you.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's a whole new topic, a whole new subject altogether. But yes, there are people still available, still in the corporate role, who are humble.
Who are? Yep, that is true. Brilliant, brilliant. And Rahul, before we wrap up, if listeners they would like to explore more about the climb framework and how you help people, not only leaders, but people to get started with it, what would be the best medium to reach out to you?
Sure. So I'm pretty active on LinkedIn. LinkedIn would be the best place to reach out to me. You search my full name, which is Rahul Karan Sharma. You will be able to find me. And you can also go to my website, which is rahulkaransharma.com /climb framework. If you go to that page, you will be able to learn more about the framework. And if you are listening it attentively, I would recommend you to go to this web page and do a self assessment. It does not cost you anything. And when you do a self assessment, we will send you a document uh, on what things you should be doing if you are at a particular stage, which is invisible stage, what you should do to move to the next stage. So if you're really serious about your leadership, uh, log into that page, do that self assessment, and get a free guide on how you take your leadership journey to the next level.
Beautiful, beautiful. Listeners, what I'll do for all of you is I'll have all these details, all the links mentioned in the show notes. So just refer to them along with this episode on whichever platform you listen to your podcast to. And um, if I can summarize this, I think what I have personally learned about the climb framework is I think it's a mirror, listeners, because it is reflecting who we are when no one's watching, how we cultivate our mindset, how we leverage our strengths, how we integrate, influence, we understand our purpose, then how we magnify our impact, and how we build our legacy. So, if you're listening and feeling like your climb has been chaotic lately, maybe this conversation is a reminder to pause, breathe, and realign with your why. So, Rahul, thank you so much for your words of wisdom, the golden nuggets. Really, really much needed conversation. Thank you.
Thank you, Sana, for having me here. And listeners, have a great rest of the day, and tune into the Mindful Living podcast. I'm sure you will get at least one takeaway of points that you can implement. Thank you.
Absolutely, absolutely. And for the listeners, I would also love to mention, Rahul, you are also a podcast host. So uh, you are hosting the Climb Confident Leader podcast. So if you can tell listeners how they can listen to your podcast as well.
Sure, sure. So, this podcast is where we share the stories of leaders who have moved from being invisible to becoming an influencer. Um, we have our podcast running on YouTube as well as Spotify. And the website that I have shared with you earlier, if instead of putting climb framework, you do a /podcast, you will be able to view our previous episode, and definitely would encourage you to like and subscribe to our show so that you do not miss any new episode. Oh, thank you, Sana, for giving me the opportunity to talk about my show.
My pleasure. My pleasure, Rahul. And listeners, I'll have the link as well. So go and check out Rahul's podcast and all the resources that he's sharing. And also, remember that mindful living starts not in the mountains, but in the moment. So keep listening to the mindful living. Until next time, this is your host, Sana, signing off. Thank you.